Hi.
Hello. Hello, everybody. We're back after some tech issues, which is so ironic because I was just like, let's go on a little bit early so that we can resolve all the stuff ahead of time. Sometimes the universe works in mysterious ways. But thank you for joining me, Katie. I am so
Yeah,
happy to see you. I
I
couldn't
know
wait.
it's been a really long time.
First of all, let's talk about where the last time I saw you was when we did the fire walk at Heather Paris's house.
Yeah, that was the last time.
That was the last time. So you heard it here, guys. Like she was doing a fire walk, walking on hot coals the last time I saw her.
Mm-hmm.
Scared as hell, but you did it. You got
Yeah,
through it.
I think I've done it. Now I've done it 4 times. So
Oh my gosh. Look at that.
yeah,
You've come a long way.
I know.
You've come a long way. All right. So let me just make sure that it's actually posting properly just to make sure. Okay, good. Looks like we're good. We're live. All right. Awesome. All right. So welcome, guys. Thank you all for being here. Sorry for the technical issues, the technical snafus. Things happen, but we made it and we're here. And thank you again for joining me, Katie. I just wanted to give you guys a quick snapshot of who she is, but thank you guys. And remember that this is the Purpose with Passion series, and I am Teany, and we are encouraging you to discover your passions because they will lead you to your purpose. And I'm so grateful to have Katie here. And let me tell you a little bit about her. So Katie has been committed to teaching and helping humans grow academically, physically, and emotionally. Her passion is giving people an environment to increase exposure to what life has to offer and coaching them to multiple levels of success. Aside from being a mom, she has multiple degrees in teaching, special education, and early intervention. She's a certified life coach and so much more, which we're about to get into. That's like a mouthful, Katie. I don't even know what to say after that.
Yeah, I know. And it was funny. I put mom on there because it's kind of a big deal.
It is kind of a big deal.
It really is. It's probably the hardest job out there.
Yeah,
I
I would
say
say
that all the
so.
time, and we don't. I think we discount that a lot. We don't give it as much credit as it deserves. I've learned a
Totally
lot.
agree.
I've learned a lot. So yeah.
Totally agree. And now you have your kids and you're helping other people's kids. So that's, I don't know which is harder.
I think it's your own.
It's hard to say,
It
but yeah,
is
I think your
sometimes,
own.
but
Yeah, it's true. I think we have more leniency with kids who are that don't belong to us, right?
yeah, I think we have more credibility. Yeah, I feel like I know nothing when with my own children, or that's kind of the vibe I get. And with other people's children or other people, sometimes I feel like, I get a little more, what Aretha would say, RESPECT. But
Yeah, yeah. Isn't that the way it works?
sure, it does.
Challenge. It's a challenge, Katie, right? It's a
Someday,
challenge.
I keep getting told someday.
When they're older, then they realize it, right?
Yeah,
So first,
yeah.
let me tell you that I love teachers. I love love teachers. My mom is a teacher. I have several family members who are teachers. So I love you guys. No joke. I love you guys. You guys are all over my family, and I so appreciate you guys. And you guys make so many amazing changes in people's lives. So let's get into it. Can you I know I gave everyone a little bit of a preview of who you are, but do you want to go into anything specific, anything further aside from that plethora of things I've said about you already?
Well, I guess I'll just talk about where my passion is right now in teaching and where my focus is.
Yeah,
I
go for it.
believe that social emotional learning is a real thing, and it is something that needs to take place before children can really learn and be academically successful, um, because they just need to be able to, have, strong relationships and be able to, use respectful language to each other or to teachers and express their needs and their emotions and be able to label those things.
Yeah,
And so that's kind of where my passion lies, on the education front.
absolutely. It's only
And
emotional intelligence. Yeah.
yeah, it for sure is. And it that doesn't get enough credibility, I don't think, especially
No.
in schools every day when we're assessing and all of those dandy things that we do. But so that's where my passion lies. I definitely want to help anybody that I can. And I'm currently I'm becoming specialized in the area of social emotional learning. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's wonderful.
And, starting my own company, and doing some parent-child classes. And I just became a yoga teacher over the weekend. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Are you and Heather on the same in the same class?
that would be funny, right? But
That would be.
she, she had recommended that I take this training, and I did. And when I got there, I went, oh, this, because it's very Kundalini based. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, I kind of thought, how did I get here? But this feels so right. I looked around like, how did I even
It
get
doesn't
here?
even matter how you got
It
there.
was so right. Like, it was so good. I am a changed person in a weekend's time. So
I
helping
love it.
children with that as well. And then
And
there's,
that's all part of it, right? Because it all helps with like, relaxation, meditation, being in the present moment.
oh,
It's
it's
all
a
part of it.
huge thing. And actually, Heather and I were just having a conversation about how a lot of people that struggle with like anxiety and kids do too, which is just scary and kind of sad. It comes down to their breathing, and not breathing the correct way.
Yeah.
So, and I had another conversation with another one of the people that I work with, a speech therapist, and I said, well, do we have to teach children how to breathe as soon as they, are born? They, for some reason, they're breathing, do we have to really teach children how to breathe? Yes, we do.
Hmm.
Because for some reason they either forget or it gets suppressed, and bringing them back to that is so important.
Yeah. And also, I mean, there's so many things that affect your breathing in everyday life, like trauma, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Anxiety, all different kinds.
adverse childhood experiences are on the rise. So it could be anything from divorce. It could be, I don't know, like accidents or, diagnosis, all these things that come up, even to the little humans. And they need to have the help to get through it and know that it's okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
We're back.
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, I can see my whole my whole face there. I got excited for a second.
All right, so let's start from the beginning. How did you get started in this journey? Like, what pushed you? How did you like discover that this was the path you wanted to take?
Well, I guess that kind of goes back to when I met Heather Paris. My daughters were taking a camp over the summer at a theater in our local town, and right before they went on to perform their, I think the musical was Matilda, which is one of my favorites still. They went. Heather came out and talked a little bit about her life coaching, and I really just looked at her and went, wait a minute. Like, I'm watching her and I'm like, I thought those are for, like, movie stars and people in LA, and like, you're a what? A life coach? Oh, geez. And so I contacted her. It took me about 3 weeks to actually reach out to her, and we sat in a Panera, and she told me, like, I felt like I needed to pinch her and touch her and like make sure that she was a real thing. And she was, and obviously, she became my life coach. And then I was like, well, I want to do this. I want to help people. And if you're a life coach, I want to be a life coach. So I became a life coach through her
Here you
program.
are.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the other piece of that is, in that period of time, I had a longtime friend. Actually, she was my mother's friend, and I was going through some really traumatic stuff. And she's the kind of friend that you see, she just appears. The universe brings her to you. You'll have going back to my name, Katie Serendipity, like it happens all the time and I believe it now. After,
Serendipitously.
yeah. I'll run into her at the store if I had been thinking about her or something. So she kind of, we ran into each other and she looked at me and said, "You need to meditate." And I'm like, "Oh my goodness. I don't know what you mean. That's weird." She's like, "Just do it for 5 minutes." She looked at my daughter and she's like, "If your mommy doesn't meditate, or check with mom every day and see if she meditated just for 5 minutes." So I tried, and then I joined a meditation group. And I also started following a woman named Carolyn Rim on Facebook.
Yep, Carolyn.
And I loved her. And I would meditate and we would visualize together and all those things. But that made me realize something. It made me realize that I had been meditating my entire life because I'm traditionally non-traditional. So that's just how I always have been. So what I discovered is that I had been, doing it my whole life, but it was always through music. So being in the car, and like the best example of this is when I got married back in 2000. I would, go on shopping trips looking for, favors or whatever. I don't know. I had no children at the time and I could just go do things. I could drive 30 miles, east and listen to the radio. So I would listen to this song, "Kind and Generous" by Natalie Merchant. And I'd play it over and over again, but I knew it was the song that I wanted to be played at the end of my wedding when everybody was leaving. So I would play it over and over and again, and I would start to feel emotion, and I'd visualize like the end of the wedding and everybody being there and just feeling so much gratitude, right? So it's sparking the gratitude. Yeah, I had no idea that was meditation. I mean, my eyes were open. That's okay. I just, what I've noticed is that I've met so many people that are like, "Ooh, I can't meditate." Family members of mine have said that to me. And I'm like, "Yeah, you can. If I can do it, you can do it." I even actually went to the extent to say that, everybody already kind of does it. There's a children's book called Everybody Poops. Well, everybody meditates too. They just don't know it. There's got to be a way that they're doing it, whether it's a song, whether they go to a favorite place, that they stare out into nature. People get
It's
really,
whatever brings you to presence, basically. Whether it's
exactly,
music.
and it's always been music for me.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
awesome.
continue to do that, and I call myself the meditative disc jockey. And it's so funny when I
I
actually,
love that
isn't
name.
that fun? I posted it on Facebook and one of my longtime friends was like, "I have to see this in action." And I'm like, "Okay, come on over." So,
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome. So first, let me apologize because I think we are now live.
Oh, okay.
We weren't live before. I think I had to just change the status to public instead of private.
Okay.
So we've been talking for a little while, but that's okay. You guys can catch up afterwards. She's just been giving you her whole life story, so it's okay. You guys will listen to it later. It's all right. Things happen. But this is awesome. So what do you think have been like some, I guess, key points in your life that has sort of guided you to the trajectory that you have had in your life to lead where you are now? Like, have there been any major points in your life that has led you to where you are?
Absolutely. I've kind of just been catching and releasing it like my entire life. Like just recently I watched a video of myself at like my 11th birthday. And I watched myself just opening the presents and all the animation in my face and like being so like grateful to the people that were there and saying thank you and just being who I know I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I've, like I said, I've caught that and released it, brought it back and released it. And I think I was 26 when I had my children. I've been diabetic for a really long time. I've been diabetic for 25 years. So I waited 5 years into my marriage to have
Mm-hmm.
children because I didn't think I'd be able to with my disease. And when I got pregnant, they asked me if I wanted to know what they saw in the sonogram, and I'm like, yes, because I need to make sure it's okay. You know, my type A monkey brain was going like, yes, 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 tell me, tell me, tell me. And they said they saw two, and I'm like, two what? What? You know, so I was told that I was having twins at a
Oh
very,
my
very early
gosh.
time in my pregnancy. And I think at that point when I had both of those beautiful souls in my body, I realized that there were certain things in life that mattered and certain things that didn't. And as time
So
progressed and I
true.
had them, you know, it's so funny. I never read this book. Just, I don't know. I don't even know where I got it. It was called Forget Perfect. I don't know who the author is. I don't even know if it's still in publication, but I liked it. I liked
Mm-hmm.
the title. I bought it. It sat on my nightstand, and I was forgetting. I just, the word, I stopped saying it because how could I stay stuck in that mindset of everything has to be perfect when I had these two beings that were out of my body running around and I'm chasing after them and doing the best that I can. So, you know, being diagnosed at a young age with a chronic condition, having the twins, you know, there's been other things that have happened too. You know, walking away from a 12-year marriage was pretty hard as well. And
Sure.
what's that?
I said, I'm sure. I'm sure it
Yeah.
was.
But I really just decided that, you know what? I think I can do this by myself. And that's what I've been doing for the last 6 years.
Don't you think
So,
that people underestimate themselves? You
yes.
know, every time you go through something, you're like, oh my God, if I can get through this, I can get through anything. And then the next thing comes and you're like, if I could get through this, I can get, right? Like it happens over and over because we underestimate our power, our resilience, our abilities, you know, like it's incredible, right?
I think you're 100% right because I feel like even going to college, I didn't want to do that. I didn't think I could. I didn't apply to colleges. I mean, this is real life. I didn't apply to colleges because I didn't want to have to write the essay. Come on. Like, really?
You've come a long way, Katie.
Oh, I know, I know, I know. And with each, you know, like hurdle or, you know, pushing that door even further open, you just feel a sense of pride.
Yeah.
You want to keep reaching, and that's where I am now. I do. I want to keep reaching. Can I start my own business? Oh heck yeah. You know, like cuz I went to college. You know what I mean? Like and I didn't think I could do that either. And I've raised twins and I didn't think I could do that either, you know? I mean, I feel like they underestimate themselves. And I was a cheerleader in high school. I didn't play sports. that's that's where I feel like my coaching comes like back brings me back to who I am. I've always been that cheerleader. I've always been, you know, you can do it, kind of mentality, positivity,
That's awesome.
and this just gives me a stronger, like a bigger tool bag. You know what I mean? Instead of saying you can do it, like I have some other things that I could say that are, you know, a little more articulate and, you know, takes you from varsity, you know,
I will
cheerleading.
resist from having you do a cheer for us. I'll resist.
I don't know. Maybe later. No,
Okay.
I can't. You know, after yoga last week, I have to tell you, I'm not in the best shape, but I am bound and determined to be in the best shape. So I can't do a toe touch or anything like that anymore, but I will be. I'm working on it.
You know, it's funny because I was looking through some of your pictures and I was like, wait a minute, you actually lost a lot of weight
I
at
did.
some point.
I did.
Tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did that happen?
So probably about close to like 9 years ago, I decided that being diabetic, having a lot of carbs in your system wasn't like really great, is what I
Yeah.
thought. I've learned a lot of different information now with research. However, I was, opposed to carbs, and I thought, you know what? Um, Gluten intolerance and celiacs, they're both autoimmune disorders. I'm going to try the elimination diet. So I eliminated gluten and then reintroduced it. And when I did, I was really sick. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, well, you know what? I can live without it. It's not a big thing. So I lived without gluten. And then I decided to, was it sugar next? Like refined sugar, get rid of that. And then dairy. And now I'm on a mostly plant-based diet.
Good for
And
you.
yeah, and there was a time period where I was, running and stuff like that, but I really hated it. So I stopped. That's another piece of it. If it just doesn't feel right, I don't do
Yeah.
those things anymore.
I
But
agree.
the funny thing is like walking into Kundalini yoga and Radiant Child yoga like I did last weekend, going, okay, well, this is exercise. This I can do. This is my thing. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. Thank you so much, universe, for like slapping me in the face with it because I didn't realize it myself. But, you
And
know,
also trusting your body and your heart, right? Because like when you start running, you're like, okay, your body's like, no, 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 no. Back
right.
up. This isn't for me. But when you walk into yoga and you start doing it, your body's like, okay, right?
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the other piece of it that I actually was talking about is, or that I had like kind of made a note about. As far as my intuition goes, I I actually called her unrealistic, and she was kind of a hippie. Like I was not going to listen to her. I was not going to listen to her because you know what? I needed to be that polished, whatever. If it, maybe lead with your heart, like I don't know, kind of thing. But I wasn't going to listen to her. She wasn't the person that needed to be out there or whatever. And now I do. I listen. I listen very, very carefully to my body and
Hmm.
what what my intuition tells me to do. I If it doesn't feel right, I don't do it.
Absolutely. Agreed. So on that note, I mean, who inspires you now to continue your journey, to keep moving? Like, have you had people who've inspired you throughout your journey, throughout your path?
Yeah. I mean, I think
You've probably had many, I'm sure, as we've all had.
I have the woman that inspired me to meditate. Heather is huge. I really sometimes look at her like she's an angel because she just appeared in my
Only if
life.
she's a pink angel. Only if she's a pink one. Heather, I know you're out there. Say hello.
Yeah, so I mean, and I just had a realization not too long ago, in a conversation with my mother, who has been the kindest person that I've ever met in my entire life. And I used to look at that as her being weak and soft. And my delve and research into like in journey through loving kindness has made me really open my eyes to the fact that I had that woman in my life my up until now.
Hmm.
How lucky I've been. So she does inspire me to, just to, you know, kind of have a Mother Teresa kind of attitude, love anyways, keep doing it. Um, yeah. And my kids inspire me. The kids that I work with, my own children, they, um, they're great. And what I really think is really great is that all of us are just, souls and we're having a human experience.
That's right.
So if I listen to the energy, you know, that's that's the best way, and feel the energy and let it
Absolutely.
like I yeah, positive vibes only. That's kind of what I strive for. And when they're not, meeting these people where they are, and helping them through it. That's important to me, and that's what makes my heart pump. Being
Awesome.
connected to people and just we're all here for each other. That's a song by Alicia Keys, by the way. We are here,
I
and
love Alicia.
oh, I know, she's so great. I love her too. So if she's out there, hey.
Yes. And Heather just said, hey.
Hey.
You guys, if you have any questions for Katie, feel free to like interject here and ask away. So we're talking about people who have inspired you. So what has kept you inspired in general to like keep mastering your craft? Like what has kept moving you, inspiring you forward as you keep moving?
I feel like it's been, you know how we talked about like pushing the door open a little bit more, where you feel more confident when you're successful, you want to keep striving and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, every time I said shut up to my intuition and then realized I shouldn't have, or on the other side of it, I said yes and I was like, shut the front door, because really, you were right, when I'm having these conversations, and I mean, so it's so funny because I do talk to myself, and I don't think that people are crazy when they do that. I think the smartest humans out there, because I want to say nice things to myself. Why wouldn't I say nice things to myself?
Absolutely.
I mean, what's inside here sometimes has been the biggest, nastiest, meanest person that I know.
Mm-hmm.
So now I just try to be really nice to myself, I mean, the positive self-talk has really super duper helped me, where I used to have to pick up the phone and say, and get that feedback from another human being. I can have a conversation with myself, and, I can say, hey, baby girl, what's going on? And we get through it together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. And also, like, a lot of this stuff becomes habitual, like bad habits are a habit, bad talk to yourself is a habit. Good talk to yourself is a habit too. So it's just a matter of which one are you going to choose for yourself, right?
And the more that you put that out to the universe, right?
Yep.
The more it keeps coming back, keep putting it out, keep putting it out. And, it's funny because when I first, well, funny story is I'm going to say met Carolyn Rim. That would have been on Facebook, but I really did meet her last
Mm-hmm.
spring, which was a huge shocker and a surprise. And there's a whole serendipity story that goes around along with that too. But when I first met her, with the whole like I am statements and manifesting things, and I was like, okay, this doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem possible, but I'm living it. I am living it today. You know, I am
Mm-hmm.
statements. I am capable. I am strong. Like I remember she had me writing like a ton of them. I did her 90-day challenge, I think it
Mm-hmm.
was, and reading them, and just it makes a huge difference, I
It
think.
absolutely does. Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
would
those are
recommend it to
all
everybody.
those are all incantations, right? And
Yeah.
incantations are things that are not always conscious, right? Because you can say, I am this, I am that. Eventually you believe it and your body believes it, and then you incorporate it into your spirit and your soul, and
Yeah.
you become it, So
Hmm.
absolutely, those work. Absolutely. So on that note, what do you think are some of the habits and like patterns and beliefs that people have that really limit them from pursuing, their passions like you have?
Uh, I think fear is a big one, and how I'm reminded of this a lot being, in public education, and, you know, like teachers unions, and, I had a meeting this week and I found out that, I need to go back to school to keep my job.
Whoa.
And I was like, you know what? I mean, yeah, it was sobering is how the superintendent worded it, but I'm not scared. You know why? Because I know it all was going to work out.
Yeah.
Every little thing does. And going back to that too, like, I think it is, they let the negative stay circulating in there, and don't shake it out through meditation or yoga or going for a run, or even maybe they want to go for a motorcycle ride. I don't know, just something,
That
whatever.
sounds like fun.
Just doing something, or like going skiing, or whatever it is that gets you, like you said, go back to your center or whatever.
Yeah.
Being open to it and taking time for yourself, like, and just loving yourself. I believe that people really it shouldn't be frowned upon to you know take the time, in relationships, which are the hardest thing in the world, right? Whether it's with your children or with your boss, or even like romantically and things like that. They're very difficult, and they take a lot of time and effort, and they can be magical as well.
Yeah.
But you know I think that encouraging people to take that time for themselves, because that's what we're doing. We're running around, like, I can feel it over the last few days. I've been running and running because I'm trying to get things done to start my job, or my new business, and getting classes set up, and talking to this person and talking to that person.
Mackenzie agrees with you.
All right.
She's like, yes, yes, yes.
um, just love yourself. Love yourself first. And I wish I knew that. I wish I was taught that. I think that's why it's so important to me to get work with kids, and work with the kids on social emotional learning and
Mm-hmm.
being mindful, and saying, whereas the 8th grade Katie would have been like, oh, well, if I walk around and say, you know what, I feel pretty today. I feel pretty, and I am fashion forward today. And I don't know, what am I don't even know what we wore then. Probably like Guess jeans, my only one pair that my dad would buy me, or something, or my Coca-Cola jean jacket. I remember one of those. So, it's, and having, especially in the young women circuit, having them say to each other, like, dang, you look good today. High five. You must have slept good last night, or something. Or, those Doritos are really making you look awesome. 'Cause whatever. But just nice, positive things that are, sent from heart to heart, and building each other up. I want I want them to build each other up, because there's so much that can break them down.
Absolutely. And there's so much stuff actually happening right now. Time's Up, all these movements, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm particularly passionate about female to female
Right.
empowerment, because I don't think it almost feels like we've taken on the masculine side into ourselves. And so we're like, oh, I need to compete with you, girl. Like, no, no, no. I look better than you. You look good, but I look better, right? Like, no, like that stuff has to stop. And actually whenever you recognize something in someone else, it's actually something you have too, right? So you don't even need to say it. Like, she's beautiful. Leave it at that, because
Yeah,
it's part of you too.
absolutely. Wouldn't that be? See, that's where I'm going with this. I
Yeah.
really, really.
Yes.
It'd be so nice.
So tell me what you do then. Like, I know that you're a super busy person. I know that you have a lot of things going on, but you also have goals. You have things you want to do with your life. Now you have to go back to school. So when the shit hits the fan, what do you do to continue to keep moving? Like, what's your go-to, or what are your go-tos?
I lay down. I pause. I press the pause button, and you know what? The dishes pile up, because they'll be there as soon as I have the energy to do them. And
Yep.
that's the reality. Once I am out and depleted of my energy, I can't move anymore. And I'm not, the only one that I really have to answer to is me,
Yep.
in the universe. And the universe is going, hey, sister, you know what? You're tired. So you should probably listen. Take a break, lay down, watch a movie, Don't care about the laundry and the dishes, and the kids can stay home tonight, or whatever it is, and I just practice the pause. But I did find over the last year or so a really great place. I also feel like connecting to nature and water is like huge for me. The ocean is my source. Like, when I go there, I'm refreshed. I exfoliate
Mm,
the sand. I let it all out. Like,
absolutely.
I become one with the universe again, for sure. However, there is a really great state park that's near me, and it has a lovely little lighthouse, which I don't know if you know this about me, but that's how I feel like I go out to the world. I stand strong like a lighthouse, and
Love it.
I do my thing, and I'm just there, shining on as
That's
long as I
beautiful.
possibly can for, to inspire and influence other people. Show them that, you can, you can do it. Like, I mean, there's whatever it is that you want to do. Let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about the different things that are keeping you from doing it. But yeah, I do. I see myself as, I don't, there's a long poem and I have it hanging,
Hmm.
those are the other things that I do. I have like walls of inspiration in my classroom. I just print stuff off. I set it up there, and in my bathroom. They're everywhere around the house. I write
We
things.
need those though, right? Like I have them. Hello, like you can see the one right here. I
Oh yeah.
have them all over my house.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Back a few, like when I was doing all the healthy eating, I was like, okay, I basically buy the food that's healthy. I don't have the yucky stuff in my house. Okay. But I have to keep going back to the store and getting the healthy stuff. But sometimes I forget, right?
Hmm.
So with the positivity and like the words and stuff like that, I feel like we have to feed our brains too. And I do that every day. I choose I listen to, the music that I listen to, the audible books that I listen to.
Yep.
So I'm still feeding all of that in. So I guess that's kind of like a daily maintenance thing. So it's not so much when, shit hits the fan, but like I'm doing these things on the daily and meditating daily. And now I'm doing yoga daily.
All right.
So these are, I guess it's preventative, but in the moment, there are times I'm also an essential oil person. I mean, earlier today, I got myself, I don't even know, just like I could feel it all in my chest. I wasn't upset. I was just excited about, I don't know what, but I had to take some oil and I heavily rolled it everywhere on my chest because I needed to come down from that, and I took some deep breaths, and that's what I do. I have all
Yeah.
kinds of tricks now, but when I really, really am pretty bad, and it's gotten out of control, I connect with nature and I go to my spot, my lighthouse.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yep.
I like what Brene Brown says. She calls it her comfort list. And I
Love
have
her.
like, yeah, she's great. I have like a little sticky pad in my bedroom on my vision board that says all the things that help me feel comfortable, like help me bring me back to myself, singing, dancing, and all that good stuff. So that's what people need to have. Their version, like your version, right? My version
Mm-hmm.
of a comfort list of the things that, bring us down, like keep us calm, bring us back to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm. And I love that you said vision board. Ooh, I
Big
love one.
fan. I have
Right.
lights all over mine. I have like it's pizzazz.
Oh, I like that. I'm gonna have to add lights to mine. I didn't even think
Girl,
about that.
Christmas lights, Christmas lights.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Battery operated, it works.
Yeah.
But you're right, like reminding yourself of the things that matter to you, like having things like I have on my wall, you have on your wall, comfort list items around your house. I know that Heather loves frogs, like we all have our things. So it's a matter of figuring out what's your thing, right? what is it that keeps you going when the going gets rough, right?
Yeah, that part, that knowing yourself, you
Yeah.
know. I think that I looked to others to provide that in me for a really long time because I didn't know any other way. And now I love being self-sufficient in that area, you know. I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you don't keep learning from other people, right? But
Oh God, no.
there's like a big movement right now of like kind of killing the guru idea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because the only guru is you, right? You are your own guru, right? I am the master, right? Like in Bruce
Yeah.
Leroy, like in the movie. Because even though you can learn from many people, right? Like you are the ultimate, deciding factor of whether you're going to incorporate what they teach you or not. And you have to keep it going in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
So you are your guru. Right?
I like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Use that with your kids. It might work.
Writing
All
it
right.
down.
So speaking of like some of the work that you do and how you help, like what are you doing these days? So like what's your coaching? Like I know that you're a teacher, but how do you help people outside of, the education system? What are you doing for people these days?
Well, I certainly I have a website, you know, and I'm open to coaching. However, I am starting to doing. I'm starting. I look at a lot of parents, okay, and a lot of times what happens in education is I feel like we have that dynamic between parents and teacher that is there's some muddy water there, right?
Yeah.
Because parents are doing the best that they can, trying to raise children in the world that we live in right now. And here I am, a professional in education.
Yeah.
However, first I'm a mom. So I tend to lean towards the no shame, no blame parent model. And I really, really try hard to develop connection and meaningful connection with parents because that's what's going to happen with that's going to influence how well their children do in the school setting. So making it, you know, comfortable for them. Do we need to meet at your house? Would you like to have a phone call? Could we do, you know, a Zoom call or something, you know, whatever, just giving them options. But most recently, I'm really excited about, you know, doing the parent child classes because I feel like it fosters that connection and community where I think there's some disconnect when you work in public ed. So that's what, and I did this a long time ago. I worked for an agency and did early intervention, and
Mm-hmm.
recently became an early intervention provider, an independent early intervention provider. So I don't have to work for an agency. I can do it by myself. So I'm starting to hold these classes, and
Great.
I am super excited because I can work with parents because you know what? When it comes to parents, there isn't a parent out there that doesn't love their children as much as I love my children and you love your children.
Yeah.
There's that's not a competition. That's just a reality. We don't have children and go, I really don't. I don't love them. We don't do that. They all parents love their children
You
and
fall for them every time.
all children love their parents, right? So how do we work together building great relationships between children and parent, right? I love that and the opportunity to work with parents. Not that, you know, everything's rocky or anything like that. And again, I'm that lighthouse. I'm not going to be forceful or, you know, I'm just going to do things the way that I've learned to
You're
do
just going to
them.
draw them to you.
Yes, that's exactly it. I'm so excited. You've got it. I'm pretty, yeah. So
I love that.
that's where my focus is right now. And you know, I do have some private. I have a student that I see privately, and certainly would, you know, take some more children on privately, and you know, just mentoring and I
Beautiful.
just being positive to even people at the grocery store. You know,
Yeah.
just smiling at people.
Spread the light.
I like to play the smile game.
Yeah. So where can people get in touch with you? Where can they reach you? How can they find you?
So I'm on Instagram and it's Katie _Serendipity. I'm on Facebook, just Katie Serendipity. And in my attempt to prepare for tonight's event, I was monkeying around with YouTube. So it's a learning curve. So I am in the process of getting something set up so that people can check out some playlists, if they're feeling kind of,
Wonderful.
yeah. So I think it's actually, the universe saying you needed to take it in a different direction anyways, because I just had like 50 something songs, like all clumped together, and I would press random so that they would play. And I felt like whatever played is what I needed to hear. But maybe, classifying in it to like, or classifying things to say, here's a playlist for, getting shit done, making it happen. And here's
Nothing wrong with that.
here's a playlist to, self-love, kind of
Yep.
having a theme for each playlist. So they can check me out there. I'm Katie Serendipity, and it's meditative disc jockey. Yeah, so check me out there, and then there's other ways to get in touch with me. I have a Snapchat account, which I don't remember what the name of that is, but it has something to do with serendipity. And yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. So while I ask you what your final thoughts are, I just want to ask the audience if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to ask. Heather just said, be your own guru. Don't seek the guru. That's right, Heather. That's right.
You know what I'm interested in hearing from anybody that is watching that would love to share anything that has to do with serendipity, like any kind of, synchronicity that they've experienced, that stuff. I swear it's like I'm like Buddy the Elf, and he sees Santa when somebody tells me a story like that. I love those stories. So please, follow me on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, and share this stuff with me, because I love
Yes.
stuff.
I just have to say something about serendipity. First of all, I love the movie. I don't know if you've seen the movie.
I need to come visit you.
Serendipity Girl.
And go to that restaurant.
Yes, their frozen hot chocolate is so good.
Okay.
But let's not get into that. When you come into the city, bring Heather with you and we'll go.
Okay.
And they do sell healthy foods in there too. So.
Oh.
So, but with regard to serendipity, first of all, I feel like that's all part of like synchronicity, coincidence, which I don't really believe in coincidence, but everything is like a synchronicity, I feel, because, you putting it out there allows you to connect you, to other people, to situations, circumstances, all these things. But it all starts in here, right? So you being in presence, like you said, through meditation and all these different things, allow you to be in the present moment to even realize that these things are happening. Right? Mm-hmm. That's how you even see these things. That's how you connect to these people. So that it's all about that. It's all about being in presence, being in that moment, right?
It is.
So I love that you named yourself serendipity. I love that word. It's one of my favorite words.
Myself too.
So what are your final thoughts, Miss Katie Serendipity? Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, I just want to say thank you, because this was exciting. I wiggled a lot, but I'm just counting it as a little bit more additional yoga, because my arm's been in the same position.
Switch arms.
Figured out.
Yeah, I don't know what happened today, but sorry for the tech difficulties, guys.
Yeah, so they probably got a nice view of my basement that I'm in, and but we are just beautiful souls having this human experience, and I truly believe that every day is a gift, and there is always something to be grateful for. So the earlier that I can teach children this, and parents can teach children this, so that it's not just on Thanksgiving that we're giving thanks, that we're giving thanks every single day to each other and our families in the classroom. That's something to be said, and I think everybody should listen to more music. And I can help
inspiring music.
I can prescribe some music if they need that. So hit me up and I can help you decide on what kind of music and stuff like that. I do have a friend, Mackenzie, who I was like, oh my gosh, what is that song? And she wrote down a bunch of songs for me. And I'm like, oh, I'm adding those to my now deleted playlist, but I'll get it built up again. Yeah, so just sing and dance, move, love, enjoy the synchronicities and trust your intuition, trust yourself, listen to your body and love yourself, I guess. Those are my final
love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Katie, so much for
so
doing this interview. Yes, it was so good to see you. I don't want to like wait another, my God, it's been at least a few years by now. So
I know.
It's time. It's time that we get you guys.
We'll have to plan a trip to the city, and I would like go crazy if we went to Serendipity.
I know where it is. Yes, done deal. I will take you there.
All right.
Again, thank you. And if you guys want to reach Katie, please feel free to find her on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, and look for her as Katie Serendipity. And thank you again, guys, for joining us. This is Teany Hidalgo from Sanese Wellness with your Purpose with Passion series, encouraging you to discover your passions because they will lead you to your purpose. Find me on sanesewellness.com, on Instagram as Teany Hidalgo, on Twitter as Teany Hidalgo, and on Facebook. Thank you, guys, for joining us. I love you. I'll see you guys soon. Bye, Katie.
Bye.